So, all right. Before going into the details of this workshop, so this workshop is basically covering the special stuffs rather than the regular classes. So, what would I say? I will give you some perspective on some important things that we need to do for the IELTS exam. So for the reading module itself, for the reading module, one very important thing is paraphrasing. So whenever you are starting the reading module, you have to paraphrase. Whenever you are going through the answers, and you're trying to give some answer, and you are trying to go through the topic of the reading module, you need to know how to skim through the whole content. So these terms will cover these terms. So let's ask you guys, do you know the meaning of skimming through? Skimming through. Do you know the meaning of skimming? What does it mean by skimming through a composition or some passage or some paragraph? Do you know the meaning of skimming? Skim through. Okay. Okay, you guys do not know the meaning. All right. So whenever you are getting a passage to read for the IELTS reading module, you'll get some passages, right? You'll get 3 passages to read, to go through. And as you are going through the passage, it's a whole big passage, maybe 2 or 3 pages long. So to cover the passage, to sum up the content of the passage, what should you do? You should skim through the content of the passage. It's like flying through the content, flying through the lines of that passage. Just take a short look of the content of the passage. That's the skimming through technique, that you are having a look at the paragraphs of the passage, and you are going through the topic sentences of the passage. What are the topic sentences? Do you know? I'll show you what is the topic sentence and what is the skimming through technique for the reading module. Okay. Yeah. So I have got some answers. Reading through the passage to understand the essence of it. Yeah, Akhil, you're absolutely correct. I'm showing you one example of this. Okay, I guess you can see the screen now. Okay, I'll share my screen. Is it visible? If it's visible, can you please tell me? Can you see the passage clearly? Okay, thank you. So this is the official website of IELTS, actually, the official website of British Council, and I'm showing you one official passage from the reading module. So I'm not going to talk about the reading module. So that's the task of the regular IELTS classes. But I'm going to, as this is a workshop, I'm going to show you how to, skim through the topic of the passage, because most of the students have this problem that they told me that they do not get enough time to read through the whole passage, because you are getting 3 passages to answer within 1 hour. 3 passages, 40 questions to answer within 1 hour. That's a tough thing to do. So you have to go through the passage within 20 minutes and answer all of its question, like 12 to 15 questions of that particular passage. So how to do it? So let's show you an example of doing it. So this passage is about electroreception, I guess. All right. So this is your passage. You can see the paragraphs of this passage. So it is quite a big passage, and it has around 7 or 8 paragraphs. So the meaning of skimming through is, flying through the content like this, flying through the content of the passage within a short amount of time before reading it thoroughly, before reading it descriptively, flying through the content of the passage, to know the summary of the passage, to know the real vibe of the passage. What does the passage mean? What is the passage for? To know the main topic of the passage, to get an idea about each of the paragraphs, you have to skim through. So what is the technique that we can follow to skim through the passage? So there is two techniques, actually, two very popular techniques. One technique is to read through the questions first. You can see the questions of this passage. So there are 13 questions. There are 13 questions for this passage. You can see the question 10 to 12, 7 to 9, 1 to 6. So these are the questions of the related passage, from the related passage. So one technique is to read the passage first. Another technique is to go through the questions first. So, my own personal technique was to, spend 30 seconds for going through the questions first, to just take an idea about the questions, so that I can look for those questions in the passage. So spend 30 seconds first before starting even skimming through the passage. First, look forward to the questions for maybe 30 seconds to have an idea about the questions itself. Okay. Sir, if you don't mind, I want to say that as we are learners, if sometimes you say our Bangla language for teaching, it will be helpful for us more easily. Okay, okay. I want to discuss this topic as well, as you guys wanting me to say Bangla, but there are some international participants here. So considering their fact, as well as for the practice purpose of your IELTS listening test. So if you do not consume much time, or if you do not intend to spend 1 or 2 hours for listening to English each day for IELTS exam, then it will be tough for you to get a good band score in the IELTS listening test. So the fact is, if you're not spending 1 hour or 2 hour every day for listening to English, but you are doing this workshop, you're doing this class regularly, then it will be your only resource to listen to English each day. So I know most of you are not practicing at home. You are just attending this lecture. You're just listening to me and then forgetting everything after the class. But the class, what it is doing, it is familiarizing with you, you guys with English. So listening to this class in English is helpful for you at the end of the day. So that's my own idea, that's my personal opinion. So yeah, but if you need any explanation, any explicit explanation regarding any particular topic, then of course I'm here to help you with Bangla. Okay, the passage itself, the questions 1 to 6, 7 to 9, and 10 to 13. The first concept is, in this workshop, I want to give you a brief idea about these concepts, so that whenever you are doing your regular IELTS class, if you keep these techniques in mind, it will be helpful for you to get accustomed with the class, as well as to get a good band score in the related modules. For now, it's reading. So for the reading module, one technique is to go through the questions first for 30 or 40 seconds to get an idea about the questions and what to look for in the passage, because your ultimate goal is to answer the questions from the passage. So first thing you can do is to look at the questions for 30 to 40 seconds. Then what can we do next? Then we can go to the passage itself. So now we have gone through the questions for 30 to 40 seconds. Now it's time to start reading the passage, but first thing we'll do, we'll skim through the passage, we'll fly through the passage and try to get the summary of the paragraphs of the passage. So for this, we need to know some terms. One term is topic sentence. So what is the topic sentence? Do you know what is the meaning of topic sentence? Topic sentence. Do you know the meaning of topic sentence? Anyone? What is the topic sentence of a paragraph? Do you know the meaning of topic sentence? Okay, you guys do not know. Actually, the topic sentence is the is usually the first sentence of the paragraph, which provides a summary or an idea about the whole paragraph. So most of the passages of the IELTS exam, they are written in this way, that the paragraph will start with a sentence, will start with a topic sentence that holds the idea of the whole paragraph. So in some of the cases, it might not start with the topic sentence. That I know. In some of the cases, the paragraphs will not start with the topic sentence. But in most of the cases, the IELTS passages will have the paragraphs with topic sentences at the beginning of the paragraph. So as you can see here, we have some paragraphs, and hopefully they are starting with the topic sentences as well. So here, for skimming through, the first thing is to read the topic sentence. So you have to read each topic sentence of each paragraph. Now, for this paragraph, this is the topic sentence. So nice. So as this is the topic sentence, you can see it says, open your eyes in sea water, and it is difficult to see much more than a murky, blurry green cloud. So this is the topic sentence, or this might be the topic sentence. We can get an idea that this paragraph is actually talking about seeing something in the water or some biological phenomena. So it is talking about some biological thing. So this is the topic sentence. And for skimming through, what else we can do? Just reading the topic sentences will not give you the proper idea about the whole paragraph. So what can we do for skimming through, for flying through the whole passage? What can we do? We can also read the conclusive sentence of the paragraph. So this is the first sentence or the topic sentence of the paragraph. And then we can read the conclusive sentence of the paragraph. Here it is. This ability is only found in aquatic amphibious species because water is an efficient conductor of electricity. So yeah, now we can understand, we can get the whole idea of this particular paragraph. It is talking about uh, electricity conductivity. So that's the idea about this paragraph. So as you know about the questions itself, as you have gone through the questions, now you can get an idea whether you are going to get the answer of a particular question from this particular paragraph or not. So you are trying to find the answers from this question. For example, which paragraph contains the following information? Question 1 to 6. So you have to write that how electroreception can be used to help fish reproduce. So which paragraph is talking about this particular, which paragraph is talking about this particular topic? So you have to find out about that paragraph. So that's your task for question number 1 to question number 6. So now if you have gone through all of these questions for 30 or 40 seconds, now you know which paragraph is talking about which thing. I know you cannot just answer just by reading the topic sentence and the conclusive sentence. That is not possible. But this will give you an idea about the topics of the paragraph. So that's the necessity of skimming through. So you have read the first sentence and the last sentence of the paragraph carefully, and then you just glide through, just take a short look at the wordings, at the sentences of the rest of the sentences of that particular paragraph. So now this is the second paragraph. I'm just going through the topic sentence and then just gliding or flying through the other sentences and then read the last sentence of the paragraph. So this is the topic sentence. This is the topic sentence. And then we're just gliding through, flying through the other sentences within a few seconds. Then we will carefully read the last sentence of the paragraph again. By this way, we are going to get an idea about the whole paragraph. So that's the meaning of skimming through, to getting the gist or the summary of the passage within a short amount of time by flying through the contents of the paragraphs of the related passage. So the first thing is for skimming through, in my opinion, the first task is to read the topic sentence of the paragraph and then glide through the other sentences and then read the conclusive sentences, the conclusive sentence of that paragraph carefully as well. So that's the criteria we can follow for skimming through the content of the passage. So now if you take 30 to 40 seconds for reading the questions of the paragraph, then you take 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes to skim through the contents of the paragraph. So we are left with roughly 17 minutes to answer all of the questions. But by using this first 3 minutes of the 20 minutes for one passage, by using the first 3 minutes for skimming through the questions and the passage content, you have now an idea about the whole passage and you have an idea about the questions itself. Now is the time to find the answers of the questions from the paragraph. But by spending these 3 minutes, you have already got an idea about the whole passage and an idea about the questions itself. So that's the technique I want you guys to follow if you like it. So you can spend the first 3 minutes for skimming through the contents of the passage as well as the questions of the passage. So do you have any question regarding this? do you have any question regarding this technique or anything for the reading module? You can raise your hand or unmute yourself if you can. If you have any question, you can ask me. Do you have any question? Okay. I can see that you don't have any question. All right. So let's move on. Move on with the next technique. So we are done with this. Let's stop sharing. Okay, so you guys don't have any question related to the. Okay, Akhil, yeah, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, I'm asking you to unmute.
Thank you for unmuting me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to know, as these paragraphs are a bit smaller, I suppose we get a longer paragraph. Would it be enough to go through with the first line and the last line? Or there's some other strategy with which we can be sure that it would be easy for us to get the answer eventually?
Okay, it's a good question actually. So you're asking me if the paragraphs are long enough, will it be enough to just go through the first line and the last line of the paragraph? Is that your question?
Yes, precisely.
Okay, yeah. Actually, how it's regardless of the length of the paragraph, the topic sentence will be the topic sentence. So there's no doubt about the topic sentence. So the topic sentence, for most of the paragraphs, it will have a topic sentence. And if you are unlucky, the first sentence will not be the topic sentence. If you are unlucky, because there is no written rule that every paragraph should have a topic sentence. It is not a written rule. But as most of the passages comes from renowned journals, renowned newspapers, so they follow this criteria of writing paragraphs. So they basically start with a topic sentence. But if it doesn't have a topic sentence, then you are unlucky in terms of skimming through the contents of the paragraph. But the irrespective of its length, no matter how much sentences a paragraph have, it should start with a topic sentence. And if you read the topic sentence as well as if you read the conclusive sentence of the paragraph, regardless of its length, you should get a simple, brief idea about the topic of the paragraph. So that's the if the passage itself has 10 to 12 paragraphs. So maybe then if you're saying that it's not possible to skim through within 2 minutes, that's a point, and that's where we can improve our reading skill. That's where if you read and read, if you practice reading, your reading speed will increase. That I can guarantee you guys. I can give you 100% assurance. If you read about 50 passages within a few days, your reading speed will increase. This is an assurance, a guarantee from me. So try to read things in English to increase your reading speed. So from, if you say within a few days I'll complete 50 IELTS paragraphs, I will read them all. If you say this now, after a few days, after reading 50 passages, your reading speed will increase for sure. That's an assurance, because practice makes a man perfect, and there is no shortcut to success. You have to do this. If your reading speed is low, you're not being able to skim through the whole paragraph, the whole passage within 2 or 3 minutes, then you reading speed is low. To make it a bit faster, to improve your English reading capability, to increase the skill of your reading, so you have to practice. So if you say that within a few days I'll read 50 IELTS passages, then for sure your reading speed will increase. And then you can say that after practicing those, maybe you will be able to skim through even the big passage within 2 or 3 minutes. So that's my answer to you, Akhi. Is that all right?
Yeah, correct. I just want to repeat what you have mentioned. Is
Yeah,
We need to read the first line to get the heading and the conclusive line or the
yeah,
sentence to understand the gist of it, and then we have to match with the question which has been asked and
yeah,
pick the answer.
yeah. So that the necessity of this skimming part and spending 3 minutes from your 20 minutes is to get the idea about the whole passage, so that whenever you are looking for a question to answer, your mind will say that maybe paragraph number 3 will have the answer of this question. Then you will go through the contents of the paragraph number 3. Then you will spend time reading the paragraph 3. I know, but if you get that idea already, that this question should have answers between paragraph 2 or 3, then you're not looking for paragraph 7 and 8. You're not wasting that time, because you already got an idea about the topics of the paragraph. So you can redirect yourself to that particular paragraph for looking for the answers of that particular question. So that will save you time eventually. So that's the point of skimming through, to get the idea about the whole paragraph. I hope
So,
that answers your question.
yeah, so I just want to ask you one more thing. So, if we
Yeah,
have eight paragraphs, for an instance, in the paragraph which you have shown, there are
yeah,
eight paragraphs. So, one should look for go through with the first passage, first
yeah.
paragraph, uh, then look for the answer first, try to attempt that, or just look for that particular answer which is related to that paragraph, or then so on and so forth, then going through the second paragraph, then looking for that particular answer. This should be the approach, or we should skim the entire thing, the entire passage, that means the eight paragraphs, or and then start looking for the questions, how it should be.
So if you are confused about a question that I cannot understand, where can I find the answer? I'm confused. So if you are in that situation, if you can't find the answer, that you guess that this paragraph will hold the answer for this particular question, but after reading that paragraph, you cannot find the answer. In that case, uh, the second thing to do is to skim through the whole passage again. Maybe read the topic sentences of the other paragraphs as well again, so that you can get a booster about your previous idea. And then look for the next paragraph that seems to you the most suitable for that question. So that was my technique. If I wasn't able to find any answer, so then I'll skim through the passage again, and then go to that other paragraph that seems most suitable for me to find the answer of that particular question. So that is a technique, but I have a good reading speed. For those of you who do not hold a good reading speed, first thing to do is to practice and increase your reading speed. And the second thing can be, after skimming through, I hope you can answer a few of the questions for sure. But if you cannot answer, if you cannot find the answer of a particular question, or if you cannot find the answer of 3 or 4 questions, then read the whole paragraph thoroughly. Read the whole paragraph thoroughly for once. So that will take time. Reading the whole paragraph thoroughly will take time. but for answering a question, you are reading a whole paragraph. In this way, the time will decrease. For those of you jara bangla ekta explanation চাচ্ছেন, so for those of you who are wanting an explanation in Bangla as well, আমি আবার এই মানে ব্যাপারটা বাংলায় বর্ণনা করছি, যাদের কিছুটা সমস্যা হয় ইংরেজি বুঝতে, যেহেতু এটা খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ সেই কারণে আমি বলছি। আপনাদের যদি মনে হয় যে আপনারা একটা প্যাসেজের প্যারাগ্রাফ গুলো পড়েছেন, স্কিম থ্রু শেষ, 2 মিনিট স্কিম থ্রু করেছেন, এখন কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার করতে যাচ্ছেন, কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার পাচ্ছেন না, তাহলে দুইটা টেকনিক। একটা টেকনিক হচ্ছে যে আপনি আবার স্কিম থ্রু করেন, আপনার যদি মনে হয় প্যারাগ্রাফ নাম্বার 3 এই কোশ্চেনের অ্যান্সারটা থাকতে পারে প্যারাগ্রাফ নাম্বার 3 তে স্কিম থ্রু করার পরে, তখন আপনি প্যারাগ্রাফ নাম্বার 3 পুরোটা পড়ে ফেলেন, তখন নিশ্চয়ই আপনি অ্যান্সারটা প্যারাগ্রাফ নাম্বার 3 তে পেয়ে যাবেন। এইটা একটা টেকনিক। আরেকটা টেকনিক হচ্ছে পুরো প্যাসেজটা পড়া। তো আমি যেই টেকনিকটার কথা বলছি সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনি প্রথমে প্রশ্নগুলো পড়লেন 30-40 সেকেন্ডে, প্যাসেজটা স্কিম থ্রু করলেন 2 থেকে 3 মিনিটে, এরপর আপনি কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার করা শুরু করেন। প্রথম কোশ্চেনটায় যান, ওই কোশ্চেনটার অ্যান্সার কোন প্যারাগ্রাফটায় আছে, যেহেতু আপনি অলরেডি স্কিম থ্রু করে ফেলেছেন, আপনার জানার একটা আইডিয়া থাকবে যে এই প্যারাগ্রাফটায় হয়তো থাকতে পারে, তখন আপনি ওই অ্যান্সারটা খোঁজার জন্য ওই প্যারাগ্রাফটায় যাবেন এবং ওই প্যারাগ্রাফটা কিন্তু পুরো পড়া হয়ে যাবে, ওই প্যারাগ্রাফটা আপনার কমপ্লিটলি পড়া হয়ে যাবে ওই কোশ্চেনটা অ্যান্সার করার জন্য। তখন আরেকটা কোশ্চেন যখন ওই প্যারাগ্রাফ থেকে আসবে, আপনি কিন্তু জানেনই ওই প্যারাগ্রাফটা যেহেতু আপনি পড়ে ফেলেছেন, হয়তো কোশ্চেন নাম্বার 5 আবার ওই প্যারাগ্রাফ নাম্বার 1 এ অ্যান্সার আছে, তখন আপনি কিন্তু কোশ্চেন নাম্বার 5 পড়ার সাথে সাথেই বুঝবেন যে এটার অ্যান্সার প্যারাগ্রাফ 1 এ আছে। এটা একটা টেকনিক, যে হোল প্যাসেজটা কোশ্চেন বেসিসে পড়া, যে একটা কোশ্চেন, এরপর সেই কোশ্চেনের জন্য প্যারাগ্রাফটা পড়লাম, সেই কোশ্চেন বেসিসে আমি অ্যান্সার করতেছি, এটা একটা টেকনিক। আরেকটা টেকনিক হচ্ছে আপনি হোল প্যারাগ্রাফটা, যেহেতু আপনি পাচ্ছেন না, আপনি পুরো প্যারাগ্রাফটা একবার পড়েন, মানে সিরিয়ালি একেবারে প্রথম ওয়ার্ড থেকে শেষ ওয়ার্ড একবার পড়েন, আবার অ্যান্সার করার চেষ্টা করেন। এটাতে টাইম বেশি লাগে। আর পার্সোনালি মানে আমি হোল প্যারাগ্রাফটা পড়ে অ্যান্সার করলে আমি অ্যান্সারও খুঁজে পেতাম না ঠিক মতো, এটাতে টাইম বেশি লাগে। আমার কাছে লাগে কোশ্চেন দিয়ে আপনার প্যারাগ্রাফ খুঁজে সেই প্যারাগ্রাফটা পড়ে কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার দেওয়া কোশ্চেন বেসিসে, এই জিনিসটা আরেকটু ইফেক্টিভ হোল প্যারাগ্রাফ একেবারে শুরু থেকে শেষ পর্যন্ত পড়ে তারপরে কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার করার চাই। হোপফুলি যারা বাংলা এক্সপ্লেনেশন চাচ্ছিলেন তাদের জন্য ব্যাপারটা ক্লিয়ার হয়েছে। So I guess that's the end of today's workshop. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I just have a doubt still. So there are
Okay.
two approaches. One is going through with the entire passage,
Yeah.
paragraphs, the passage which you have shown, if we take that as an example. And
Yeah.
second approach, and then looking for the questions and answering, attempting them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And second approach would be just reading the first paragraph and then looking for that particular answer. These are the two approaches.
Skimming through the paragraphs, not just the first paragraph, skimming through the paragraphs, reading the first sentence and last sentence of each paragraph, and then look for a question, maybe question number 1, because you have already skimmed through the paragraph, you should have an idea about which paragraph should contain the answer of the question number 1. So redirect yourself to that particular paragraph and read the whole paragraph. That's the way of reading for the questions itself. So one thing is to read the whole paragraph at once, whole passage at once, before even starting answering any questions. And the second technique is just we get a question, we see a question, for answering that question we are reading a paragraph. So that's the other technique.
So this is the two stages, right? First stage is to go through the passage.
First, skim through the passage.
The second stage would be portion and then looking at the first line and the last line, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Akhil. So do you have any other questions? Okay, I guess you guys do not have any other questions, so I'll bring an end to this workshop and